Good morning, friends. It's Brian back at Bidwell Canyon Farm. I got a call from some neighbors that are having some well issues with a new home they purchased, and it sounds like there's quite a leak when they turn on the pump. So I'm going to go down, assess what's going on, try to expose some broken plumbing, and I wanted to take you along for the ride. It could be something that we all learn from. So if this video helps you out, subscribe to the channel. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Helps it travel further in the algorithm. And yeah, hope you enjoy the show. Okay, so here's the site, and this is the well casing that goes down to the well, and the pump is down inside there. The homeowner said water springs up from this area, so I'm gonna dig this up and find out what is broken and what we can see. A little dig update. Kind of just hand excavated some sand and rock out of this and found a valve here, and now I'm starting to see a little old insulation stuff down here about the 32-inch mark. So I think we're getting close to a pipe. Yeah, a little trick of the trade, get yourself an old cardboard box to keep your knees out of the cold soil. Okay, we found the pipe. Couple problems I see. It's about just over 2 feet to the pipe, which in our country we want to be about 36 inches to our water. So you either retrench everything, or you maybe add a little soil through these low points so you're at least 3 foot buried. The other problem I see is we don't have any sand. It's just a lot of rock right up against our pipes, and especially with PVC, you know, things are heaving up and down when it freezes and moisture gets in there. It tends to crack pipes like that. Okay, we're here in the muck pit with absolutely stunning developments. Let me fill you in. This little conglomeration, which I'm assuming probably was a hydrant at one point that came up here. This pipe goes straight. This thing tees that way underground. I assume there's some sort of hydrants out there. I don't know, man. This is awesome. This is so much fun. You know what I mean? It's just like, wow. Then there's that guy too. So there's still a lot to figure out, but I'm gonna take a lunch break. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. If that's the only problem, that's really good. So with this valve shut tight, you still get a little water there, but it definitely helps to keep it closed. But this should be replaced. Okay, so it's day 2. I ran to town, got a valve to replace this one. I've gone ahead and cleaned out everything underneath the section I'm going to replace, and we're going to make a cut as close to the valve here. Since this valve body's broken, we can't reuse it. I'll cut it as close there as I can, and I'll leave a little bit for a coupler down here. I have the new valve, and I buttered this up last night in the shop when I got home from the store from town, and tighten those on. You want to be careful when you're tightening plastic to metal. You can easily over tighten, and these will crack if you get too tight. So good and snug is plenty, but those are all ready to replace that valve. We can kind of visualize this a little bit. So we could slip directly onto there, which might be nice to get this valve a little further out here anyway. So let's make our cut right about in there. And then I'm gonna cut it really close back here if I can. Tough angle, I might get a handsaw for that cut. Big old split. Thank you, Gigi Ma, for this bag of rags. What a help that is. If you're watching, I give thanks for you on this Thanksgiving Day 2023. What I've gone and done is I excavated into this hill a little bit so we can get this compression fitting tight. We can move this as far back as we can, and you'll see the old pipe right here. So that's good, and we can still turn our fitting, our compression fitting, and now we can make our final plumbing connection with the valve. You do want to be sure this is clean and dry before you put your purple primer on there. So if that were in there for, I mean, we could do 5-incher. Let's split the difference, go 4.5 inches. Clean those burrs off. Use your knife. Kind of bevel the edge a little. So you'll note I still have the one compression part. Make sure that rubber gasket's nice and clean. So that's gonna go in. This is gonna slip in here, and that'll slip on, and then that will couple this up. The other thing, if we had more room down there, we could just put this part on the slip coupler down in the hole, but we don't have enough room, so that's why I'm doing it this way. Here's what we got. Purple primer first. They say to coat it twice, and while the primer is still wet is when you add your PVC cement. That heavy duty. Got weeds hanging on here. Get a nice coating of the glue. Okay. And we want that facing up. We'll let any water go through there. Okay, hold that back pressure a little bit. Okay, that's firmed up real nice. Okay, I hope you saw that. I think you did. Put the lid on the glue before you dump that. You'll notice I'm wearing gloves. I think that's probably a smart plan. And really, there's no rush to tighten this up. I'm gonna let this cure overnight since it is so cold. Okay, thanks for joining me today on this Thanksgiving plum out. Now I gotta go just gorge myself on delicious foods at the Friendsgiving. Can't wait to see you all, friends. Love you. Okay, we're back here at the hole, and I let this sit for a few days. It got so cold it was down to 15 at night, so I just covered this whole setup after I glued that with a bag of fiberglass insulation, a bunch of foam, and then I put this piece of cardboard over everything so it would keep the frost off of this and let that pick up the Earth's ambient temperature. And now I just tightened up our compression slip fitting. You'll see how it kind of angles, so I'm a little concerned that one of these joints might not seal very well, but that is kind of the beauty of those. They do have some flexible components and they are good at what they do. So I shut the valve. I'm gonna go turn on the pump and we'll see if we have any leaks up to this valve, and then we'll turn that on and see if we have any leaks at our compression fitting. Okay, we are here in the pump house, and before I do a pressure test on our new valve and everything outside, I wanted to come in and assess what's going on in the pump house. And so we're going to assess this pressure tank. We need to fill it because it's been so long since the system's worked. There's absolutely zero pressure. With a 30 to 50 psi switch, you want to fill the air pressure to 2 psi below the cut in. So we're going to fill this tank to 28 psi. And we're already about 20. I've been filling this for a while, so I just had to go pee. But I'm back. Let's fill her up. I don't know if you can see this gauge. Let's see. So we need 28, and we're at 20.2. So let's put a bit more in her. 28.0, which is exactly 2 psi below our pressure switch. Okay, the main water from the pump comes into this pipe, in through this T into the pressure tank, and then back out to the house. But what I've done is shut this off just so we can assess if there's anything leaking from this point back to the pump. So now I'm gonna go back outside to our hole, tighten everything up, shut that valve, and then we'll flip the pump on and see if everything is leak free. Before I turn on the pump breaker, I went ahead and opened this hydrant, which is in line, and a hydrant over here on the house, so any sediment can exit before it goes into that pressure tank inside the pump room. So let's see what we get when we flip this breaker. This will be pretty exciting. Here we are, pump. Pump is on. Yes, it is. Okay. So we have water coming out of the hydrant. I'm gonna shut this off. I'm gonna shut this off. And then I'm gonna go inside. Little kind of brownish water. Now we're gonna go look at the pressure tank and make sure that doesn't have any leaks going on. What do we have? We are pressurizing. See if we get up to the 50 cutout. It could be that this is a 40 to 60 switch. If it goes past 60, I'm gonna run out and turn off the breaker. Oh, there's a kick off. So let's go back out to our hole and see if anything we did is leaking. Let's see what we can see at our valve. Check our glue fitting for any leaks. I don't see anything other than the wet soil that's already down here. I'm not seeing any water there, which is good. Yeah, I think we're good. Now, I'm gonna open this valve. Pressurize that side. And make sure we don't have any drips coming out of our compression. No. No, okay. And any drips under here? I don't see any. Okay. So what I'll do, I'm gonna keep this valve closed because I don't even know where that goes. And I don't think it's needed at this point in the game. But we do need access to this valve. I have a Kubota bucket full of sand and I have these risers and I customized one to fit over our pipe. And that'll bring us right up to the surface. We already have our insulation and our foam that we're gonna stuff inside here to keep that valve from doing what it did. Now that we know we don't have any leaks going on, let's fill a little bit of sand and put our risers in. So you may remember this upright that I think used to service a hydrant. I'm gonna just cover that with many layers of foam. I feel like it'll protect it from freezing as well as give an indicator if someone's digging that there's something right below the foam. So I'm gonna layer that over it and then keep filling with sand. Okay. Job. These Dunzo peeps. So I went and turned off the pump breaker now. We're gonna drain the system back out. So that is the end of the pressure in the tank. All the lines are draining to the low points in these two hydrants now. And that should keep the system from freezing or breaking. And I would say this is a wrap.